so we're ready to start another yoga class, and today we're going to be doing some fairly intense stretches on the hamstrings and maybe going into splits. So I've got 2 blocks to help me with that, and a strap could be handy, something nice for the knees. Anything that don't go beyond your range, make sure you're comfortable in all the poses, and feel free to modify to what suits you, or take up my suggestions. So we'll start by lying down and sit on the floor. And if you'd like to lie on your backs with the soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. And if you find that that becomes uncomfortable in the groin or anywhere else, feel free to just rebend and put the feet on the floor. So allowing a gentle action of gravity to open up into the groin, into the inner thighs. And we'll start with the breath awareness, in through the nose, out through the nose. And you may even want to just do a nice sigh out through the mouth. Take a big breath in through the belly. And a nice big sigh out. We'll do one more. And as we sigh out, we'll just let go, soften. Releasing everything to the floor. Bringing the mind to focus on the sensations in the body, whatever arises. Just trying to be present to whatever the body's feeling at this point. And then if it's comfortable, we'll take the next breath and bring the arms up and overhead. This will create a little bit of a back arch. If you're not comfortable with the arms overhead, feel free to take them out to the sides if that feels better. Couple of breaths here into the belly. Adding a bit of strength into the back as we draw the back muscles towards the ribs. And on the exhale, we'll bring the arms back down, release the back to the floor. And then taking both knees in towards each other, and then knees into chest. So pressing lower back on the ground, and just a little circle around, feeling what that lower back wants, it's asking for. And then we'll take the feet back to the floor. All right, so nice simple hamstring stretch. We'll take the right leg up. You could use a strap around the foot, or you could just hold behind the back of the leg, either holding the calf or behind the thigh, whatever's comfortable. A little bit of up and down with that right foot. And perhaps some circles for the ankle. And the other way. All right, we'll change sides. So left leg up. And we'll just point the foot up and down. And then some circles. Just seeing if any cracks, any creaks happen. Going the other direction. All right, and bringing that leg back down. Okay, so from here, let's roll over. We'll come up onto hands and knees. So if you want to have a little bit of a softness for the knees, then using a blanket is a nice option. So we'll be in our basic tabletop position. And having the hands set up underneath the shoulders, just a couple of little cat-cow rolls here. So I'm moving with the breath. As we inhale, we'll be dipping down through the back. And as we exhale, rounding out. Keeping the elbows nice and soft. And then coming back to a nice neutral position. So we'll extend just the right arm forwards. And then depending on how your shoulders feel, you could either make a fist, place it underneath the elbow there, or you can place the hand on top of the elbow and rest the forehead on the thigh, on the upper arm. So either this position or this position. So if you want a bit more support for those shoulders, then have the hand underneath. As we hold this stretch, extend the right hip away and keep reaching out through that right hand. And then we'll come back up and transfer over to the left side. So left arm will be forwards and either have the fist underneath the arm or hand on top of the arm. You can rest the forehead on that right forearm. And then extend away through the left hip. And then we come back up. Let's just give the shoulders a nice little roll around. So our next stretch will be for the outer shoulder area. We'll also add a little bit of a inner thigh opening to this. So it's the Drunken Panda. It can be a little bit awkward or confusing to get into when you're trying to look at the camera. So first up, the right arm will be coming underneath the left arm. We bring the head and shoulder to the floor. And then, if it feels okay, we're going to take the left leg up and over towards the right hand. And if that all feels good, then you could take that left arm up towards the sky. So I'm resting on my right side of the head, the outer shoulder, and reaching up. And just breathing. We're looking to stretch into the back of the shoulder there, and also an inner thigh stretch. All right, let's come back down with that top left arm. Bring the left foot back in, and then we'll push back up to hands and knees, and we'll go the other direction. So now we'll be taking left arm underneath, head, shoulder to floor. Right leg out and up towards the hand there. And if it all feels okay, maybe right arm up towards the sky. And breathe. We'll bring that right arm back down, leg back in, and then pushing back up onto hands and knees. All right, so we'll be moving into some lunging. So this, again, you may want to have this padding underneath, and if you do happen to have some bricks, then set your bricks up in front of you with an easy reach. If you haven't got any bricks, you could even try, rolled up towel, bolster, or, just anything solid to rest the hands on. So we'll step into a lunge with the right foot forwards. And you can either have the hands on the floor or hands on your bricks, whatever's going to be most comfortable for you. And we're moving forward to the hip. So I want to get the hip ahead of my back left knee. And then we'll just take the gaze forwards and feel that opening in the left thigh, left hip flexor area. Just allow that to happen. With my front leg, I'm still trying to keep my right knee above my ankle joint. And then we'll ease back with the hips. So again, you might want to have a brick for this. You could have one brick and just have it underneath the chest, or if you've got two bricks, either side of the leg, or again, some of you might be happy just to have the hands on the floor. But we want to draw this right kneecap up, lift the toes, and it's another hamstring opening. And then we'll ease back out of that by bending the front knee. So now we're looking to get a bit more of a stretch in the calf Achilles. So for that, we will be stepping that right foot in a bit closer. And now we're going to allow the knee to travel past the toe. So I do want you to support your weight either through the floor or through your bricks. So it's not all down through that front leg. So trying to get that sense of opening through the back of the calf, Achilles heel area. It is a deep knee bend. Pardon me. And then we'll ease back out of that. And the final bit is extending our lunge out to wherever we are happy to go. So if you feel that you're okay to go into full splits, awesome, you can do that. But otherwise, you can stay up here in a high lunge. So I've got my bricks ready. I'm going to walk my front foot forwards and just ease into it. And this could be plenty for you. Or if you feel you've got a little bit more, you could lift the toes, slide that heel out, and sit down a little deeper. And you know, if you're lucky to have some bricks, you may even be able to put a brick underneath and rest the right head of the thigh on that. It is much easier once you've got some support under there, or if you can reach the floor. And of course, every time you want to come out, you can come out. And we breathe. Smile. Relax into it as much as we can. And then to come out, you need the hands back on the support. So either, again, your bricks or the floor. Depending on how low you are, you could either slide that foot back in, or if you're quite low, you come all the way down and then swing that leg forwards and shake it out. And then we'll come back to hands and knees. That's quite a big movement. We'll now work on our left side. So stepping left foot forwards. Just a standard lunge. So if you like the hands on something, set the bricks up either side, and let's move forwards with the hips, sinking into it. Relaxing and opening that right thigh, right hip flexor, and gaze forwards. So we want a nice long spine. And breathe. So now taking it back for that hamstring stretch, beginning to straighten the left leg, lifting up the left toes, drawing up the kneecap. Of course, the more we lift the toes, the stronger the stretch. Remember, we are trying to get this left leg as straight as we can. Let's ease forwards again, and now we're stepping that right foot in. So I'm taking it a whole foot in from where it was initially, and then allowing the knee to travel past the toes and supporting your weight either on the floor or on your bricks as we feel that Achilles calf and calf stretch. This is good for our squats as well, if you like doing squats. All right, coming back out of that. And now we'll take it into Hanumanasana, our monkey god split stretch out. So beginning to walk the left foot forwards and creeping out a little further if that feels okay. And perhaps using a brick as a little bit of a support if you've got that. If it feels all right. And we try to smile, try to breathe, soften the face. So very intense stretch, this one. So to make our way back out, either drawing that left foot back in, or if you're a little bit lower like I am, taking the support away, or just bringing that right leg forward, shake it out, loosen off. Beautiful. We'll come into a child pose. So big toes touching. If it's comfortable, knees are a little bit wider toward the edge of the mat, hips towards the heels, and either arms extended forwards, or if you prefer, you can support the head on the hands. Now from here, we'll move all the way down to line our stomachs. So if you do need to readjust your screen for that, feel free to take the time to do that now. So we'll do some more leg stretches down here. We've done a lot for the back chain of muscles. We'll do some quad stretching here on our front. Starting off with a Sphinx pose first. So if we can have the elbows underneath the shoulders, hands are also shoulder width apart. And then with the feet, try to position the little toes to the ground, lift the kneecaps, and then breathe up through the crown of the head and lengthen through the front of the chest. If there's any discomfort in your lower back, then try press studying the pubic bone to the floor a little bit more and see if that helps. So we don't want to have any pinching in that lower back. Now, if this all feels good and you're happy to take it just that little bit more, not too much, press down through the hands and then take the elbows just off the floor. But your belly button should still be on the ground here. The elbows are still a little soft, shoulders away from the ears. We're just getting a little bit more stretch in the front body. And then on our next exhale, we'll release back to the floor. And you can either rest your head on your hands, or you can turn the head to the side, arms to the side of the body. And then from here, we will come into our first quad stretch. So bending the right knee and reaching around with the right hand, hold on to the foot. This is the side I struggle most. There we go. And hopefully we get that really nice quad stretch. Now some of you are going to be happy to rest your head on the floor. I've got to stay up here just because of my knees, but if you're happy to lie down and relax into that stretch, awesome, go for it. And then we'll release that side and we'll change over to the left side. So grabbing hold of the left ankle or foot, whatever's comfortable. Just enjoying that quad stretch. All right, letting that side go. So we'll be building this into Dhanurasana or the bow pose. Next one is what we call half bow pose. So we're going back to the right side and once more grabbing hold of the right foot. I'm just going to put a strap around my foot because I know my knee doesn't like this one. All right, so holding on to that right foot, we're also going to take the left arm forwards, stretch away through the left leg, and then as we breathe in, lift the head, lift the chest, push the foot away from the hand. You can either keep the left hand on the floor or take it off the ground. So we're employing some strength now in the leg and the back. And then we'll come back down, release that side, have a little rest, notice how it all feels. And then changing over. So grabbing hold of our left foot, and right arm forwards this time. And if you need to put the strap around like I do, set yourself up with that. So we start to push the foot up and away. Option of taking hand off the floor if it feels okay, or you can just keep it down for a bit more support. Keep breathing into the belly. And release. Come back down, have a rest. So the final part of the process, of course, is taking hold of both feet. So if you're okay to do that, awesome. Go with that one. If, like me, your knees are a little challenged with this one, you can either set up a strap, but it's really hard to do yourself. I usually help my students with setting up their straps. Or your other choice is just to simply come into a snake pose instead. So if you're happy to grab hold of your feet, grab hold of both feet. Otherwise, coming into your snake pose, reaching fingers back towards. And then if it feels good, push the feet up and away, lifting up. If the back's not happy, don't go there. Have a rest instead. All right, calming back down. and releasing, softening. So no tension in the body. But a couple of nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then from here, we'll move back into our child pose. Whichever child pose you prefer, knees wide or knees hip width, head supported, arms extended, whatever works. Create that space in the back. And next breath in, coming all the way back up, 2 hands and knees. So we'll be moving to downward dog. Again, just to create a bit more space in the back. So hands in front, really spread those fingers out. And then tucking the toes. On the breath in, let's lift the hips up nice and high. And on the exhalation, start to ease back through the feet and the legs, head relaxed. To get a little bit more sense of space in the lower back, think of the tailbone moving down towards the heels. All right, both knees back to floor. Relax back into your child. And then coming back up. And we'll step 1 foot forwards. So back to our lunge position, but being upright. And we're going to use this to come all the way up to stand. If you can avoid using your hands, that would be awesome. If you do need to press on something, not the knee joint, press on the thigh instead. So curl the left toes under, or whichever foot you've got forwards, and then coming all the way up to stand. And then if you do have a blanket on your mat, perhaps removing that, readjusting your screen if you need to. Now that we're up for standing postures. All right, so coming into Tadasana, a mountain pose with feet roughly hip width apart. And we'll take a nice deep breath in, bringing the arms all the way up, big stretch out. And as we exhale, soften the knees a little bit as we bring the arms back down beside the body. So we're going to move into a standing twist. We'll breathe the arms up. And then as we exhale, we're going to turn to our right as we split the arms out shoulder height, looking down the right hand. As we inhale, we'll come back to our center. And then on the exhale, turn to the left, arms going out shoulder height. So we'll continue with this. Another 2 times to each side, just moving with the breath. Each time going into twist, you might find that you get a little further. So our last one will be over to the left side. And then we'll breathe it back into center. And release both arms back down beside the body. Give the shoulders a little shrug. And the other way. All right, and we'll step the feet out wide for warrior number 2. So taking a good long stance on your mat. Right foot turned out 90 degrees. And then extending away through the left leg. bending into the front right knee, and just turning the upper body to face the long end of your mat. On the breath in, we'll take both arms out over the feet, and I'm trying to get both arms roughly the same height. Check the shoulders are relaxed. Try not to pop the elbows up towards the ceiling. So a little bit of softness in the elbow joints, but the fingers are alive. Let's look down the right middle finger as we stretch back through the left hand. Breathe into that open chest. And then release the arms down, release the leg, and let's rotate over to the left. So we've got feet roughly in line, front heel roughly in line with that back in step. Soften into the left knee. On the breath in, arms out, and just check that they're roughly the same height. So as we sit down into a little softness in the elbows, gaze down the left middle finger. Back leg is nice and strong. And next breath in, we'll come back up, release the arms, and walk the feet back in towards each other. So we'll move into flying balance pose. That means the arms are going to be out to the sides, and if you want to have a little bit of support of the wall, etc., you can definitely use that, or a chair, etc. So we'll have our right foot forwards, go sideways so you get a view, and the arms, lots of choices. So you can have them out here, you can have them at the heart center, you can have them behind, whatever feels comfortable. If you want to get a little bit of a forearm nerve stretch, then really extend the fingers back. So really open up the palm. Let's transfer the weight to the right foot. Keep the gaze up, keep the chest open, and then begin to float the left leg up. So floating from the inner thigh, so toes point to floor. And the more we bring the leg up, then the body comes down, wherever it comes down to. Now your back muscles should be feeling like they're working. They should be switched on. So we don't have a rounded back, we have a slightly arched back. Keep breathing, keep balancing. And then we'll come back up and release. And we'll transfer to the left foot forwards. So for this one, we will make a fist. And then we're going to tuck the fist into the wrist and rotate it back. So this is a nerve stretch for the front of the forearm. So we've made a fist, tucked it in, rotated it back, and then arms out wherever we like to take it. So now transfer the weight to the left foot and begin to float the right leg up as we move into our flying balance. Working on keeping the hips steady, level as much as we can. So I keep moving those toes towards the floor, outer right thigh to floor. Steady breath, back working. And then releasing back out, release the hands, rotate into the wrists. So we'll go into a forward bend, Tadasana, feet at hip width, knees soft. Let's fold the arms. If you prefer to be a bit high, you can rest the elbows here, head more neutral with heart. Otherwise, if you're happy to hang, release the crown of the head towards the floor. You should get that sense of stretching into the back there. Next breath in, let's roll it up. And then taking that Forward bend a little deeper. So now we're going to take the feet out wide. They're parallel, outer edges of the feet. And we'll be going towards the floor. If you do want to have some bricks set up for the hands, you can have those in front. And from here, let's start to fold from our hip creases. And we'll bring either fingertips to floor or hands on bricks. And at this point, still trying to keep the head and shoulders roughly in line with our hips. So not going too deep. We've got head more neutral with heart. Really draw up through those leg muscles. And then now you've got the choice of folding a little deeper. So this will bring the head below the heart. Be careful if you've got blood pressure issues. So we're going to soften the elbows. And if you are going deeper, you can walk the hands back between the feet. Hands stay about shoulder width wide. And then we release the crown of the head towards the floor. So we're looking through the legs. Steady breath the whole time. So we're now in a semi-inversion. You may want to grab hold of your ankles or your feet. And then next breath in, lift the head a little bit as we walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Lengthen through the spine. And we're just allowing the blood to ease off from that head congestion feeling. So turning the toes in, feet are now at a 45-degree angle. Oh, sorry, heels in, not toes in. That would be weird. So heels in, toes out, bending the knees a little bit, just into a nice relaxed easy squat here. You can rest the elbows on the thighs, and you may even want to go for a little bit of a wiggle around, whatever feels comfortable. All right, and roll it all the way back up. So we'll walk the feet back in, heels, toes. Check it out a little bit. We've got one more standing pose to go, which is angle pose. So if you do like to use a grip, that is an option. But we can also just rest the arm on the thigh. So we're going back to our warrior two position where we've got that right foot turned out, the feet are roughly in line. And if you like to use a brick, you can have it near the ankle joint there. So long stance if you can. The legs are really well and truly stretched out by now. We're going to bend into the front knee, sit down with the buttocks. I'm not letting my front knee go past my ankle joint. And we're facing the long side of the mat. So we're going to stretch the right hand out, reach out and over, and then placing forearm on the thigh, lift, turn, rotate the chest, and sweeping the top arm up and over. So creating that diagonal line. Now you can stay with the forearm resting here, or you could slide the hands onto your brick and you can certainly change the height. I quite like to bring the arm behind, but I've got to keep that upper body rotation happening. And for those who have no problems with their back, who want to find a bit more core strength, no support, just let that arm extend. So I don't know if you can see, I've just got it coming behind the body there and reaching for the floor without actually touching it. Strong legs, really press down through that back left foot, keep it grounded. And then we want to use that leg strength to come up. So arm down first, breathing, push through the legs, we'll come all the way back out. And if you want to have a little rest before we go to the other side, shake it out. And then when you're ready, Let's go over to our left side. So we're slightly turning that right foot in. We'll bend into that left knee. And then just the left arm coming out. So let's exhale, go for lots of length. Place the forearm here first on the thigh. Lift, turn through those ribs, and then we'll sweep the top arm over and across. Opening up. And then changing the hand position if you wish. So you can go front, you can go behind, you can rest on a support, or no, rest and find some core strength instead. Nice steady breath. So we're building strength, stamina in the legs. And to release, we'll bring the arm down first. We're going to inhale, push through the legs all the way back out. Pull the legs back in. Give a little shake out. They feel like they've done some work, hopefully. And then we will go back to a forward bend, and we'll be working our way down towards the floor again. So Uttanasana, standing at maybe the back end of your mat and folding the arms. Let's release the fingertips to the floor. And then we will be walking into downward dog. So keep the heels grounded for as long as you can. And then start to extend yourself back out. Savannasana, downward facing dog. Breathing into that belly. Head should be nice and relaxed, shoulders relaxed, away from the ears. All right, knees to floor, come down for a rest. Back to your child pose. And then back to hands and knees. Okay, a little bit of core strength work, upper body strength work. So this can be quite tough on wrists and shoulders. If you need to modify with knees on the floor, please do. But what we're going to be doing is coming into a full plank and then taking it into a forearm plank and then back up to full plank. So you can also do that with knees on the floor as well. So hands spread out, at least shoulder width apart. And then your half plank is a straight line from knees to shoulders. So you're still working some of that core strength. Full plank is with the toes tucked under, knees off the floor. So we're just actively pushing the floor away. And then we'll transition into forearm planks. So we're going to bring forearms onto the ground, either in our half plank or full plank. And then we'll come back up to full plank. Now, whichever arm you took down to the floor first and took back up, we're going to do the other side. So let's come back to our forearm plank. And then come back up to our full plank. All right, come down, have a rest. And if you need to rotate into the wrists or release your shoulders, just a nice little exercise to build up some heat in the body and you know, work that upper body strength, core strength. Now we will be coming to sit, and we'll be doing a seated forward bend, Tadasana. So if you do want to sit on the edge of something like a towel or a blanket, then you can set that up underneath your backside. And if you've got to adjust the cameras again for the floor, do that too. So of course, whenever we sit on a support, we're just on the very edge. Now, if you like, you could have a strap as an option. A brick is an option if you need support for knee joints or hip joints. So the right leg will stay straight. We're going to bend the left knee and then take that knee out towards the side. So if you do like a support for the hip or knee, then you just bring that brick underneath. Now the option of the strap, you can place it around your right foot. So ideally we're trying to take away that temptation of, you know, reaching for the foot, but if you do that and you're rounding into the back, we want to try and keep the back nice and tall and straight. So I'm going to hold the strap in two hands if you've got a strap. If you're not using a strap, you can just keep the hands beside the leg there. We breathe up through the front, and then as we exhale, folding from our hip creases, we ease forwards. So I'm just keeping my elbows out to the sides and soft. I'm trying to keep my shoulders level as I fold forwards. Now, some people might be quite happy to hold on to the feet. You could, as long as you're not rounding your back too much. And if you want to go and put your forehead on your shin, you can do that as well. This is a really lovely opening for the lower back. The straight leg also opens up those back chain muscles, and we're working on the bent knee hip joint. Next breath will come up. So we'll keep the legs as they are, and we'll do a nice little twist here. So from here, just taking that left leg, and we'll bring it, if you can, bring it across, but if you prefer, you can keep it on the inside. And we're doing what we call an open twist. So we're actually twisting to the right. Right hand will come behind, left hand just holding onto the ankle, and we're turning to the right. So we're turning away from the bent knee. So we've got lots of space to breathe and expand into the belly. And next breath will come back, uncross the legs, and we'll be changing sides. So we're going to bend the right knee and take that leg out to the side. If it likes a bit of support, setting that up. So it's holding the strap in two hands, chest open or hands either on the floor beside the body. Breathe through the front, get the length in the spine. And then on the exhale, begin to soften as we fold forwards. So I'm just looking towards my toes as I fold to wherever I'm comfortable to fold to. And then breathing back up. So we'll now take it into the open twist. We're going to bring that right knee up, step the foot across if that feels okay, and then turn into the left. So left hand behind, right arm's just holding on to the ankle there as we turn to the left. Okay, breathing back and taking that leg back out. Both legs out in front, toes pulling back. And we'll interlock the hands, index fingers pointing forwards. Breathing up. Nice straight line through the spine there. Press down through the sit bones, press down through the legs. And release the arms. So we'll be coming over onto our backs for a supine twist. So if you can have the knees bent, arms out at shoulder height. Now, if you want a stronger twist, you can take the feet off the floor. If you need something gentler, you can always keep the feet on the ground. So we're going to keep the knees and feet together, and then let's bring both legs over to the right side. Left shoulder, we're trying to keep that relaxed to the floor. And then from this position, sliding that left knee in a little bit more towards the chest or the belly. You can use your right hand to draw it in and up. And then releasing that top leg. Next breath in, we'll bring the legs back to the center. And then we'll take both knees over towards the left. Release that right shoulder to the floor. And then sliding that right knee in a little bit more, holding with the left hand. And then releasing that top leg and inhaling back to our center. Feet back on the ground. Taking both knees into chest, hands around the knees. And just a little rock roll, whatever feels good, whatever the body's asking for. And then feet back to floor. So we'll have a short little breath practice while we're lying down here, and then we're going to actually sit up for our meditation today for a change. So if you just want to make yourself comfortable for a moment here on the ground, let the toes fall out to the sides, palms facing up if you can. If you prefer the knees bent, you can keep the knees bent. And you can either do this with the eyes closed or the eyes open, but I'd like you to visualize a square. And we're going to breathe along the sides of the square. So when we breathe, we all have a different rate of breath, a different counting method as well. Some people count fast, some people count slow. So can you just ascertain, what's your natural length of the breath in and out? So just count it a couple of times in your mind. And then once you have a rough idea of the length of your inhale and exhale, we want to try and have them roughly the same. And the four sides of the square comprise of an inhale, holding the inhale in is the second side. Then we have the exhale as the third. And then the suspension of breath is the fourth. And whatever count you've got for your breath, if possible, can you make it a square? So breathe in. If you've got a count of 4, breathe in for 4. Hold the breath in for 4. Breathe out for 4. Hold the breath out for 4. If you need to take a rescue breath, which is just, a breath to recover, if you're finding that it's not comfortable, please do. And finishing that little practice on the exhalation and the suspension of that exhale. And then just reverting back to how we normally like to breathe. Letting the breath become a bit soft, a bit gentler. And then moving into the fingers and the toes. Stretching the arms and legs. Bending the knees. And then taking the knees for a loose little roll side to side. We'll roll over to the side. We'll be coming up to sit. So for a change today, we'll be doing a seated meditation. Now you can sit comfortably in a chair, or if you're happy on a bolster or blanket or something, that's fine as well. But whenever we do seated meditations, it's really important to have that comfortable position. You want to resist the urge to move. Now you may also want to put something warm on, so if you've got a top that you can put over or a blanket, that could be nice as well. So we really want to feel the sit bones supported. You can lean against the wall as well if you want more support for your back. And you may want to make a mudra. A mudra is just a hand gesture. So if you're in a cross-legged position, you can either have the palms facing up, joining the thumbs and index fingers together, other three fingers just extending. This is Jnana Mudra. You can also have it facing down, which is Chin Mudra. Open hand up is more awareness. Hands down, focus is more internal. So this is external awareness, internal awareness. Or you may prefer another position. You may like to have one hand on top of the other in your laps, joining the thumbs, which is another one of my favorite mudras, or something else, whatever's comfortable. If you can close your eyes. If you're not comfortable with eyes closed, just keep the gaze soft towards the floor. And if you need to readjust your seated position, do that now. And can you visualize your spine as the central axis of your body, balanced from bottom to top? Imagine your body in the shape of a pyramid, forming a pyramid. Broad base, finishing at the apex at the top of the head. And the spine is that central axis of alertness and energy. So relax the body as much as we can without losing our position. We just let the breath become soft. Think of it drawing in nice fresh energy, getting rid of stale energy on the exhale. And bringing your awareness now to that breath in the nostrils. So feeling that breath come in through the nose, out through the nose. And we'll use the mantra of the breath, so hum. So when we breathe in, we think of the sound so. And when we breathe out, we think of the sound hum. So on the breath in, hum on the breath out. Having that awareness at the eyebrow center, think on your next exhale of exhaling down from the eyebrow center to the base of the spine, to the sound of hum. When you inhale, the breath rises up from the base of the spine to the crown of the head to the sound of so. So now traveling that breath up and down the spine, still to the sound of so hum. Hum moving down, so moving up. So keep following the breath up and down that spinal axis. Anchoring the mind to the mantra, so hum.
And focusing back to the eyebrow center, Ajna chakra. Still having that awareness of the sound of the mantra so hum in the mind. But now trying to narrow your attention to a single point, to that point where you think the sound first arises in your mind. So allow that sound of the breath, so hum, fill the space of your mind. And then expanding that awareness to other sounds that might appear around you in your room, in your space. Opening up to the external sounds. And just gradually deepening the breath, taking a deeper breath into the lungs. Feeling how it brings a little bit more alertness to the brain. And then bringing the hands down beside the body. And on your next breath in, taking the arms up. Bringing the palms together as we exhale, placing the hands back down towards the heart. Inhaling from the heart up towards the ceiling. And exhale, release the hands down beside the body. And the next one, we'll make it an Om. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in. Palms together, and as we exhale, let's Om it to the heart. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
I do have a quote, so I'll finish with a quote. And from Sadhguru, he says, fear is always about that which is not yet or never going to be. So fear is such wasted energy, and it's usually not going to happen, the things that we're that fearful about. And if it is, well, it's not going to be help being fearful about it anyway. So